Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. 1 week from today, we'll be there. California, here I come. Right back where we started from. Ooh.
I'm a little alarmed by what just occurred.
We're making a trip.
All right.
Gonna go see the kiddos. All three of them.
Plus, three of them. Plus
Granddog.
her dogs.
I bet there's two. Wow.
Yeah.
Clearly have my favorite.
Well, you have one that you've met multiple times and spent a lot of time with, and one that you've met one time.
Only seen outside of the house.
With Boba eating your toes.
Yeah, he's cute. He's just too cute. And I'm loving the constant pictures that we get of him and like the expressions on his face. That dog talks to you with the expressions on his face. Like he's just a cute dog.
So I have a fun fact for you.
I hate fun facts.
You might like this one. So, did you know that to this day, the state of Texas can regulate how many sex toys you own? That's right. Dildos, vibrators, wands, beads, you name it. A 2008 court case decided you cannot have more than 6 sex toys in the state of Texas. Now, if you're selling them, you can get a permit, but that's about it. Do they have like a bedside drawer detective?
It's no different than like, you know how here in Nevada, if you buy marijuana, you can only legally possess 2.5 ounces. And so they will not sell you more than 2.5 ounces. But that doesn't stop you from, first of all, in a given day, buying 2.5 ounces. Unless I suspect perhaps your ID will come up on their computer screen and say, nope, they already bought today.
Well, yeah, but who cares about this? What are they going to do? Raid your house for something else?
But exactly. If they pull you over and you've got 7 dildos in the back seat, you're going to jail.
That's insane.
Excessive dildo ownership. The hell is that?
As a teenager, when I was part of the Air Cadets, we used to do highway cleanup all the time. And so basically they'd herd us into a line and we'd pick up all the trash on the sides of the highways. Every single year, somebody found at least one dildo.
Why is someone throwing it out of a car?
I can't answer that.
None of this shit makes any sense to me.
The one year we found a CD wallet, you know, those with the flippies and the CDs in them. We found 36 porn DVDs that I'm assuming came out of the CD wallet and an arm-sized dildo. Who does this?
I don't understand that. I don't understand
that
putting something and like throwing it out or like why do you carry it in your car?
Maybe you're moving and you have
or
a
you're
box
going,
that
you're
falls
going
out of
to
your truck.
Significant other's place, whatever.
But every single year, if
It's
it was
just
one
weird.
off, maybe I could understand it.
It's just really weird. But you know, you're not wrong. That's why I've always said like the marijuana laws, they're kind of stupid because even if they had a way to say, oh, he bought some today, you can't do it again. Then the next day you could still buy it. You know why? I smoked it off. It's all gone. Prove I didn't. And then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. I mean, you could just keep doing this ad infinitum, and they couldn't do anything about it. But if they happen to have a reason to come to your house and they see a huge multiple bags of weed, they're gonna come inside and be like, "Yo, that's illegal."
Do you think?
But you know, it's funny. It's just a ticket.
Do you think it's potentially to stop dominatrix-style people from existing in the state of Texas?
Just like, I mean, the whole reason for the limit on how much weed you can have is so that you can't, like,
sell it,
become the dealer to the younger kids, you know? That's their whole purpose in that.
I mean, at 2.5 ounces a day, you could probably manage it.
Well, yeah, but then you get busted.
Right.
That's the whole point.
But I don't know.
But I don't know. Maybe I hadn't even given that even the slightest bit of thought. But now that you say it, you could be right. Because, I mean, we both know how strangely backward conservative Texas can be.
It's also illegal to use profane language on the phone in Texas.
Oh, come on. Why aren't they getting a ticket? That's it. No more cussing, or else you're getting a ticket if you're in Texas.
This is a weird website. So that was my fun fact.
I don't hate all fun facts.
You only hate fun fact?
They're usually neither fun nor fact.
My previous favorite fun fact was that you have to call it Arkansas.
People here will get on your ass if you mispronounce the state name.
Yes, people from Nevada call it Nevada. Losers.
And it's funny because when you first move here, it's such a thing, like a cultural thing here, that you go to the DMV to like register your car and get your new driver's license and everything. And on the damned wall tells you it's Nevada, not Nevada. Right. And it tells you that right on the wall. I will never forget walking in there and I'm like, oh, what's that on the wall? And I'm reading it. They want to make sure we know how to pronounce the name of the state. That should have been the only test for you to get your driver's license. You got to pronounce it right.
You know, I remember one time when we were on our way here having a discussion in the car about whether or not it was Nevada or
Nevada. Yeah. And now we know. But I mean, it's a hugely enormous cultural thing here.
Right.
It's hugely enormous.
Yep. Yep. So I have an Am I the Asshole for us, too.
I love finding out if someone's an asshole or not.
Are you prepared?
I'm prepared.
I, 22 female, have an older brother, John, 32 male, who has been with his fiancée, Jane, 30 female, for 4 years. They have a 4-month-old. Jane found out she was pregnant at 5.5 weeks along and immediately called my mom to tell her. Mom was confused, but still very excited. Jane said she was going to tell John when he got back from his work trip. A few hours later, she called again, sobbing, saying she has insatiable cravings. My mom made a joke like, isn't it a bit early for cravings? And Jane went off on her. She started yelling about how this was her pregnancy and no one else's. It was an odd reaction. She also apologized for her outburst by blaming it on her hormones. When my brother returned from his trip, he and Jane left to stay at her mother's, and we didn't see her until after the baby was born. John said this was because Jane was afraid of losing the pregnancy and wanted to be with her mom, and we needed to respect her boundaries. Whenever someone would ask about Jane or the baby, they would shut it down with vague answers, like every pregnancy is different. They barely shared anything about the pregnancy, no ultrasound pictures, no baby shower, and Jane didn't want anyone around during the delivery. See? It's strange. I also discovered that every craving she listed came from one article about pregnancy cravings. She even listed multiple items in the same order as the article. They did some research on this, didn't they?
Yep.
When the baby was born, we were finally allowed to see Jane and John, and baby, of course. It was very bittersweet, as we all wished we could have been there for Jane to help out. But Jane and John both reassured us that we did help by staying away during the pregnancy. The weirdest part, though, is how Jane describes the birth. She claims she had an epidural via IV drip into her hand, which is not how those are administered. When I asked clarifying questions, thinking she had gotten confused, which would be understandable, she shut down and refused to answer, like how she would during the pregnancy. She said the baby had latching issues because he was born with no umbilical cord stone. This can technically happen, but it's rare and a fatal medical condition that their baby does not have. The final straw was when she told us the baby basically fell out of her, despite my brother telling us how hard the birth was, and even stating that was why they weren't going to try for any more kids. My mom is on the same side as me and has been noting inconsistencies and inaccuracies, but doesn't know how to bring it up, and their reactions don't help. A few days ago, my brother texted my mom saying her doubt of Jane is disrespectful and they both want full apologies from the both of us for bullying Jane about her pregnancy/labor.
Hold on a second. This is so weird from every single side.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird from the supposedly pregnant woman, and I'm not convinced she was pregnant.
So there's only one line left.
Her, then the mom, then the person that investigated all of this clearly knows what they think the truth is. So let's keep going.
I've only asked questions when she brings the birth/pregnancy up. Am I the asshole for having doubts?
For having doubts? Hell no. I have my own doubts. I don't think she was ever pregnant. I'm just trying to figure out what the whole deal is. Like, what's the scam? Why?
Well, they have a baby, so there probably wasn't a scam, but they may have illegally procured said baby, or it may be like her 13-year-old sister's baby.
No, that was a very common thing back then. Like, the younger sister would get pregnant, and then the older sister, who would be like 25
And
and had a husband,
would
would be like,
suddenly
be pregnant. And then bam, the baby would come out,
It was a strange timeline. Like, how did you get so pregnant so fast?
Yeah, really weird stuff. I was thinking about it as you were reading the article. I don't ever know what to call those damn things. The post, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably the most accurate name. And I was thinking, like, none of it's adding up because, like,
Everything is weird.
the whole way she handled her pregnancy, and how, to me, one of the biggest tells was the fact that she found an article about cravings during pregnancy, and they just so happened to be the exact ones that she had, and some of them in the exact order that they came in the article. That's impossible. That
Goes in your
work.
spine, bro.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That's a
Right?
very different part of your anatomy.
This is the point that she's not understanding. It's not even an IV drip either. It's a direct anesthesia to the spot.
It's a spinal block, right?
It's similar to injecting Novocaine into an area, but it's a blocker. It's not going to go in your arm and drip through your body.
Your entire ass.
You'd be brain dead. You'd be brain dead, literally. You'd be like those things you love. The
I'd
big
be a wacky
aerial
dancer.
floppy wacky dance.
Oh my God, I'd be a wacky dancer. Yeah, let's do it.
What the hell? It doesn't add up. So, I mean, I'm kind of curious what the heck went on with the baby, because they did not have that baby the way you have a baby.
No, that woman did not push that baby out of her existence.
No, she either adopted and didn't want to tell anybody, or did like an illegal adoption, which happens, or, paid for a baby.
But this is family we're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's why it doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, as a person who was acquired and not born by my all of my family knew this.
Well, and see, that's why I think it's something nefarious. Why else would you hide it from your family?
Why are you embarrassed? Why would you be embarrassed about needing a surrogate?
In which case, family does know the truth, and they're just acting like they were told something different.
Right. The truth is going to come out at some point in time about what went down with this baby. And his side of the family is never going to forgive them for lying.
Yeah. And that's the thing that people don't think about, though.
Look at all the people you meet who have all of the adoption trauma. Now.
Well, sure. But like, it leads me to what I've been thinking about lately, which is, like, why do people do things that they do? Why do they make some of the decisions that they make? It dawned on me when I was literally listening to a video about chess, of all things. And they were talking about how to analyze the position and like what to do step by step. And he made this point of like, did you purposely choose this move that caused you to lose? Or did you miscalculate when you played the move? And it's the same thing. Like, you do something stupid, and later when the person finds out about it, they get really insulted, but not because you didn't tell them, but because, well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done this. And it's like, well, hold on. I didn't do this on purpose. It was a mistake, and that's the thing. People get mad about the wrong thing. And that's the point that it started me thinking about, like, well, okay, he's right. If I think I'm going to move my queen over here, and later on that proves to be why I lost, I didn't do that on purpose. I miscalculated. And so you learn from that miscalculation, and you don't do that the next time around.
Or you do if you're dumb.
That's the thing. Like, that's why people make the decisions they do, is because quite literally they don't calculate it correctly to the end. They don't follow. Some of them don't even try.
Right.
It's just like, what's the word? Impulsive.
Right.
Just boom, just go. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know that there's an asshole, but there's something strange there. And I'll put it to this way. I can answer the question only because she framed it very narrowly. Am I the asshole for having doubts? No, you're not. You're not an asshole. Have doubts.
The moral of the comments is that she's an asshole because she shouldn't have the audacity to question somebody else's birthing. Shut up.
Yeah, because of my aforementioned discussion we just had, how sketchy the whole thing is.
She's
it's
not
sketchy as hell.
She's not texting her, oh, how is that epidural
And making
in your
threats,
hand?
and she literally just has questions.
They're just curious people. That's my opinion. Well, that's cool.
I think it's nuts that people react that way. I don't understand, like, people will see something on the news
Okay.
And the news will put its spin on it.
Of course.
And then people take what the news says, and even though they don't show any evidence of what the news said being true, they believe it. But then if you or I go back and look up what they're talking about and look at it in context of the whole picture, doesn't mean anything like what they said it meant. So they misled you, but they do it on purpose. They're controlling a narrative. They want things to go a certain way. So that's why media does that to us. But we're the problem. That's why I keep telling people there's no such thing as misinformation. There's just dumb people who fall for it.
Well, and then people only read the headline, which is meant to misinform you and draw you in.
Well, yeah, kind of like this situation. She's not, like you're saying, badgering her. She has questions. There's things that aren't adding up. Like, come on, tell me that a really good friend of yours tells you they're pregnant. And you're like, wow, that's really cool. And then they start having cravings, and you just happen to look up an article.
Yeah.
And it happens to have the exact weird cravings that that person has in the exact order. And that's just one part of the story. There's like dozens of things in this story that didn't add up.
I have to say, though, Jane is a moron.
Yeah.
How hard is it, really, to fake pregnancy symptoms? You can fucking Google when cravings are supposed to start.
I bet you if you were smart enough, and probably with my new knowledge in AI prompting, you could probably get ChatGPT to write you a plan for how to, now you need to start talking about how your back hurts, or you're getting headaches, or you're starting to feel nauseous, or you're now stopping feeling nauseous. I bet it would tell you.
Right.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
They say that, unfortunately, that's how scammy people are going to start making money on the internet, is they're going to get ChatGPT to write a bunch of gibberish about a topic, and then they're going to sell it for, $19.95 as their little ebook that they're selling to people. And that's just horrendous.
People are going to have to get more savvy then.
Well, exactly that. But that's why I said what I said. You and I and everyone else has that same reaction to that. But when it comes to supposed stories about politics or health or a disease going around, that you're just supposed to bow down to the government and listen to what they say, but otherwise it's misinformation.
Right.
And I don't agree with that, especially when you see what happened during COVID. And so many people lost their jobs for not taking a vaccine that they were afraid of, which now the actual Pfizer studies show so many bad things that happened during the study of it all. And these people were right, but they were belittled. They were canceled, all because they expressed something that people at the time thought was misinformation. There's a reason we have freedom of speech. It avoids that.
Right.
We see it. We even see it like with people in relationships where they do the whole, well, come on now, be honest. Tell me that you cheated. I didn't cheat. No, see, you can't be honest. You're shaping a narrative. And then the guy's telling you the truth, and you won't hear it because it's not what you expected him to say. And therefore he's lying to you. It's the dumbest crap I've ever seen. People do this all over the place.
Well, now that Mike's done ranting, I think.
Hate people.
Now that Mike's actually done ranting.
Maybe.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.